Hey everybody, Kannada here, and I am joined by Pardesi.
Hello, hello. Hi, I'm Melanie, Movie Maven Gal, and I'm on the Pardesi channel, and which is new, just a few months old, and I am excited to do this collaboration and do a reaction together with Kannada.
And you have started because of Kartik from Bollyfools got you
Yep,
on the Bollyfools channel for a while when they stopped
right,
making videos, and then you recently started your own channel, Pardesi, and so
right.
we've been talking since you were on Bollyfools though, because
I think so. Yeah, you were one of my first followers when I went solo with Pardesi.
well, Kartik was
Yep,
telling me that you were doing that.
right. He's my partner behind the scenes.
Yeah,
So,
well, Kartik, it was funny because one day I just started getting tweets from Bollyfools, like for no reason. Just all of a sudden I'm getting tweets from them, and I'm like, okay, like why are the Bollyfools talking to me on Twitter? And then I found out it was Kartik that he was running the Twitter
yep,
channel,
right.
and but what was funny is because he liked my videos, he would start tagging me and stuff. So all of a sudden, a Bollyfool's Twitter account was tagging Jabby,
Yeah.
Toma Puck, and myself. So it was like all these people are seeing like, 50,000, 150,000, $300,000 subscriber people, and then me with
Yeah.
like 8,000 people, and they're like, "Who's this guy? Why do they keep tagging this guy?" But yeah, Kartik's been a great supporter of mine, and so when you guys started the new channel, of course, I was like, yeah, of course I'll go support them.
It's
So
awesome.
I'll have links to, of course, her channel and stuff in the description below, so you can check out her channel. And we also just did a collab over there. Go ahead and let them know what we did.
Well, we since both of us kind of got into Southern films by watching Bahubali, we watched the intro scene of Prabhas in Chatrapathi, his previous earlier film from 2005 with Rajamouli. So the famous shark scene.
Yeah, that was interesting. But
Yeah,
we analyzed it, and I think it turned out pretty good. But if you want to see that collab once it's posted, I will have a link to it in the description below, as well as on my end card. It will be one of the choices on the end card. So if you don't see it right away, just check back. I will have it linked as soon as she has her video uploaded.
right.
But for my channel, we're going to look at a Kannada trailer that has been requested multiple times. Uh, I've had people on Twitter, Facebook, Messenger, Discord, comments, and videos all saying to watch this trailer. And I had been told about it before, but I wanted to wait until we did this collab because I thought it would be a good one to collab with. Because you haven't seen too many of the Kannada movies
I have
either.
I think I have only seen actually one Canada film, which was Lucia, which is mind blowing. It is one of the best Indian films I've ever seen. That was before I had a YouTube channel. I saw it at least a year ago, but highly recommend that film. But
Yeah,
it sounds very different from what we're going to see today.
yeah, it is. And I've kind of got into the Kannada trailers because I get a lot of requests for them, and I have a lot of supporters in that region. So, and like some of the people that I've worked with in the background have been from Canada. Like my friend Anand that you see in some of my older videos. Whenever we can go and watch a movie together, I have him in my vlog part. He's from Canada as well. So the one we're going to watch is, and I know I'm going to slaughter this name, so forgive me, let me know how it's pronounced, but Kurukshetra? I hope that's right. I was practicing it right before we went on
Yeah.
camera. But this is the most expensive Kannada film at 100 crore.
Wow.
Crore.
Crore.
Crore. 100 crore, and it's loosely based on the Mahabharata
Epic. Yep.
epic, which I heard is just insanely long, gigantic story with like hundreds of characters. And
Yeah.
when people were first telling me that this was going to be made, because I had people sending me news clippings and stuff about how they're going to make this movie, and the big discussion everybody was having at the time was, what are they going to concentrate on?
Right.
Because it's so huge, there's no way you can fit that story into a movie.
Yeah.
And
they have TV serials
yeah,
in India where they just go on for years and years and years because there's so many stories to tell.
yeah, and that's what I thought, is maybe they should do like a Game of Thrones style TV series, which they are doing in India. But apparently this movie is it's narrating from Karuva. Oh man, I'm sorry. Karava.
Karava, yeah.
I so suck at pronouncing names, but please forgive me. But it's from his point of view. So that's where we're going to be getting the story from. And I would like to ask you guys, viewers, is this a part of the story that you would be interested in? Or if not, what other parts of the stories or characters that you wished that they would do into a movie, and do you think they would do them as a sequel? I would be interested, if this movie makes enough money and it makes a profit, would they make more movies based on the same epic with different characters?
Yeah, I've really been wondering, with the success of the Bahubali films and having ancient feeling movies like that, from a faraway time. I mean, they've got so much source material with the Ramayana and the Mahabharata that I've just been assuming that more films like that would probably start coming out because they've seen what a success the Bahubali films were.
Well, my main concern would be, is it going to show in America? Because Kannada films don't come to the theaters out here very often. It's rare. But Telugu and Tamil films are out here a lot. In our areas, you're in Chicago, I'm in Colorado. That's the majority of the films that go to theaters are Telugu and Tamil. And every now and then we get, sometimes we get Hindi films. And like what you were saying when we were off camera, is you might get the occasional Malayalam film.
Yeah, we're lucky in Chicago. Well, actually, the town that I live in has, the suburb of Chicago has enough of a South Asian population that there's one theater that always has at least one Hindi movie showing. And then there's another theater that usually has at least one Telugu or Tamil film showing. So I'm really lucky. And then about a 45-minute drive away from me is a theater that has 6 screens that's all Indian movies. So rarely, so I drive there to see Malayalam films, and then rarely I've seen that they've had films from Pakistan or a Kannada film, but not necessarily every week. But but there's just one in the area, so it's a drive. But for me, it's worth it. For like, I drove up to see Solo. That was unusual. We got it the very same week that they showed it in India. Sometimes it will be weeks later after it's shown in India that we might finally get it.
Well, the theater, the main theater that shows Indian films out here is really far from me. It's about an hour to an hour and a half drive, depending on traffic in Denver. For a while there, when I didn't have a car, I was taking the train and bus. It would take me 2.5 hours to get down there.
That's dedication, folks.
Yeah, but
that's dedication.
They have some in Fort Collins, which is north of me. It's about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. And so, because I have 2 jobs and everything, I just don't have the time to go to South Denver anymore. So when I see new releases, I just keep my fingers crossed that they put it in Fort Collins so I can go up there, which sometimes they do. They have them there more often than anywhere else closer to me.
Yeah.
But I am in talks with my local theater. It's a Regal Cinemas theater to maybe be able to show Robot 2.0.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so if I can pull that off, that would be great. But Regal is a little harder than Cinemark. Cinemark theaters, they show a lot of Telugu Tamil films. But Regal doesn't really show anything unless it's a really big movie, like AMC. AMC will show an Indian film, but it has to be a really big one.
Yeah. But it happens to be the movie that shows Hindi films is actually a Regal film, and it's only if it's a big film will the AMC show it. So it's kind of it just depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends. But let's hope that the Kannada distributors, their U.S. distributors, can find out a way of getting it to enough screens out here that there's one close enough that we can see it. But let's check out this. It's a teaser. So it's 1 minute and 22 seconds.
Okay.
We don't have any English subtitles, so I don't know how much of it. Like for teasers, some teasers have no speaking, dialogue. This might have dialogue. It's starring Darshan, the challenging star Darshan. And so if there is dialogue, we'll need help, guys, and give us the translation of what they're saying. Or send me a video that has English subtitles, because this one doesn't. But are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's do it.
Shri Padmavati Shutkamala Nivasa Venkatesha.
It's cool with the arrow in the titles.
Oh, I like that costume.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a huge set.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll need help with dialogue. 2018.
That is quite the mace.
Yeah, so let me go back. So this sequence with the bird flying.
Yeah.
So it looks good from, like, you can see the background is painted. It's a mural kind of thing. The bird was CGI, and this front part where people are marching, that looks like to me like it's part of a set. If you go back, like, you can see them marching.
Oh, I didn't even notice them marching.
Yeah, so the bird is CGI. The background is a matte. It looks like a matte painting, and then the forward where they're marching on that tower. I think that is a set that's overlaid on the painting. It looks interesting. I like the colors here.
Yeah.
So on this, like, the colors on his feet are pretty cool, but that I like this. I like the fire with the lions.
Yeah.
There's something about older, historical type films that take place in the Middle Ages or before the 1500s kind of era. 1300s, 1000, or even year zero, whatever. There's something about the lighting of fire. I like it when they use fire as a lighting element and not just have fire in the scene and use key lights, because you get that flicker.
Yeah.
You get that light, that awesome flicker that fire can give you. And I think it adds some authenticity to a film.
It's just so dynamic looking. Yeah, just having all of those big, you know, either like in Bahubali, there were big bowls of fire and similar kinds of things where you just had huge torches and things. Yeah, it's just really cool looking at it. Just sets the scene.
Now, there's something I'm a little bit concerned about, but I think it could just be the style, and I would get used to. It's not a big deal, but I wanted to point it out. In this next scene where you see the guys with the spears, if you watch, they do some like high-speed motion. So like the camera is moving at a decent speed, and then they're doing high speed for the spears to be moved out of the way.
Yeah, right.
But you can see the camera jump forward because they're making the spear movements high speed, but then slowing it to a normal speed between moving the camera between each person.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like the camera is jumping forward. I'm not a big fan of that. I would rather just have a nice, smooth camera movement through the sequence and have them move the spears at a normal speed. But that kind of jumpiness or high-speed things is a style. It's a style that I've seen in a lot of Indian films.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really analyze it the way that you are to see how the camera was speeding up with this when they were speeding up the spears being pulled back. But you're right, that kind of style, especially in trailers, is something that we see a lot.
Well, I would hope that it's just in the trailer, and maybe in the movie it's more of a smooth movement. But if it's not a big deal. It's not something that would make me hate the movie. It's just something I notice because my fans know that I end up noticing weird stuff. I like to say that my mind picks up these, silly little things.
You have quite the attention to detail. I will say that, which is good.
Well, I love behind-the-scenes stuff, and when I'm watching a movie, I'm actually analyzing like 5 or 6 things at the same time. So it's just the way my brain works. It's hyperactive. I don't know. But anyway, they use some of that high-speed, slow, like normal speed, high speed later on when we're showing him. So this reveal, I like those doors.
Yeah. I love those doors.
The detail on those doors look great.
Yeah. I will say, now that you have stopped this and gone over this scene in slow-mo, the sort of, I don't know if they're statuary or what, but they kind of have a weird angle to them on either side of the door on the walls.
Yeah, they're statues.
And I don't know if that's just because they're doing a different camera angle, and so those look even more strange, or if they're made to be kind of, stretched out perspective.
Well, you can see them there.
Okay, yeah.
So it looks like they're facing out a little bit. It kind of looks like it's a fictional lion type character eating a snake, I think. Like eating a cobra. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
But they are cool looking. But that door, I love the look of that door.
Yeah, I love that door. Yeah.
A lot of spirals and
yeah.
I love the reveal of that lion heads.
And then I don't know if it was a little bit later, the reveal with the peacock feather fans. Yeah, right there. I love that.
Well, what's cool about this transition is you don't see the set yet. So it's kind of like them saying, look at this set. Yeah. And it's a, look at that. Yeah. And then the camera kind of moves in just at the right time. But the look of this set is great. It's very busy, which I think some good sets where they've spent a decent amount of money, you have a lot of details, and a set is supposed to look kind of busy, especially with like a king that has opulence.
Exactly. That's a good word, opulence. It's not just that everything is kind of gold feeling. It's just like, you look, there's a rich carpet on the floor, and just all sorts of details on all of the statuary. They're not just simple block things.
Right.
Everything is very detailed.
Well, I mean, like you look at the floor in front of the carpet, you've got that like spiral little motif that's in the floor. It looks like it might be even an engraving or a painting that's on the floor itself. And the chandelier,
Yeah.
the huge red and gold draperies, people in their very rich outfits, except for the soldiers. They kind of look like everyman kind of clothing, but the people in the background with the blue pants and the orange and the reds, like it's very, very opulent. It is very opulent. But it's a very large set. It's a beautiful set. See, now this is a better speed with him walking through. It's an interesting costume. A lot of gold. The dude he is obsessed with gold.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's his belt and everything. Wow.
Look at all that gold. Now, I don't know what he's saying, so you guys will need to help me with that. Now, it's a little weird of him laughing in an empty room, but he's probably, I don't know if it's just for the trailer, the teaser.
I don't know that it's an empty room. I can see people seated on chairs behind him.
No,
This
no.
guy.
Oh, yeah, right after that. But right before that, when it's a wide shot of just him, here, I'll take it back a bit. So watch the wide shot of him just standing in the room.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
There's no one there. It's basically just him laughing to himself.
Huh.
I don't know if he's like, he came up with a plan, you know, doing the, just talking to himself, or if there's somebody on the other side of the camera that he's talking to that we can't see.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it might just be a scene that they filmed only for the teaser, just to kind of showcase the set. And it may not be in the movie itself, because it is a bit odd. But right after that, they show him laughing with people in the background.
Yeah.
Now it could be that it was edited that way, that it's two scenes in the film and they just edit it that way, or they wanted that wide shot that they filmed just for the teaser. Or it could be that they didn't think about it and they didn't have people in one edit and there are people in the other. But I would think if they're going to spend this much money that they would know these kind of details of whether or not people are supposed to be in a scene.
Yeah, just
Oh, but what another thing I noticed, I don't know what this is, you guys should tell me, but the painting on his forehead, like it's very elaborate. It's got like red around a dot with white on the bridge of his nose. Let me go back.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's, most of the time I just see a red dot, you know, or they'll have like brides might have something a little more elaborate. But what does that mean? Like there's got to be a meaning behind it. Especially,
Well, if you think about the Bahubali films, he also, depending on which one he was, had a different. You know what I mean? Like one, it looked more like a shell. You know, it was different depending on whether he was the father or the son.
right.
But he also had one, but it was still not quite as elaborate as this, with different colors like this.
Yeah, like the white on the bridge of the nose. That's, or not the bridge, but right between the eyebrows is kind of interesting. I would like people to tell me if there's a meaning behind that. I feel like there is a meaning of some kind, or they wouldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, you can really see the amount of money that they spent. I'm glad that it's the sets. I like big practical sets. The one thing I'm concerned about is sometimes when movies get a lot of money and they've never had money like that before, they're like, we need CGI, and they start using CGI when they don't need to. Like, I think visual effects like CGI needs to be used sparingly. only for something that can't be done in reality or is too
Well,
dangerous. But
well,
it's
like the eagle shot at the beginning. That's a cool use of it. Yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't look real. Like it needs, if you're going to use CGI, I think it needs to be an element that enhances a practical thing. So either actually the bird might be real, it's just the cropping of it,
Yeah.
the green screen or whatever to put it in there doesn't look quite right. But if they use CGI or visual effects, it needs to blend well. Now, one of the things that I was talking about is on Spider. Like I recently reviewed Spider.
Yeah.
Some of the CGI elements didn't look very good, but
Yes.
in the
Yeah,
but
like
in
the boulder,
yeah,
boulder sequence.
no, but in the hospital they had a lot of practical sets, and like the floor would actually move, and then they used CGI elements of just rocks falling, or it was a small
Yeah.
element of it. So the hospital sequence looked great. The boulder sequence not so much. But
Yeah, I
that
totally agree with you. I felt like the hospital part was much more effective because, as you said, you felt like people were really on things that
yeah.
were moving, and so they were moving in a natural way because something was slipping or something. But the boulder looking a little bit fakey took me out of the movie a little bit at that point. And I mean,
Yeah.
just also, it was just kind of a crazy scale to this serial killer character, and then it was almost like, wait, are we in a Spider-Man movie, or are we in Spider, because it was like he was a superhero villain instead of just a more regular
Right.
serial killer,
Right.
so
and with this movie, I'm hoping that most of their money is going to these large practical sets. When they get to the battles, I want a lot of actual people, like spend the money to get a lot of extras. Like I was telling you off camera, my dad is obsessed with tracking shots of horses and horse battles. I would like to see those because I know my dad would get really excited at them. And they do look great. Tracking shots of fast-moving horses or people look awesome. So I would want the money to be spent on doing things practically, and then any CGI or visual effect elements should just enhance or help with the look of it.
Yeah. I mean, judging from all the arrow shots that we're getting, even to show the title sequence, it looks like they're prepping us that there will be some big battle scenes. I hope so. It looks like it could be that kind of a scale of a movie.
But I would want them to make the battle sequences with more practical stuff, like real large arrows or whatever that you just film so that you're not just doing CG to do CG. I would like to see a full trailer. I want to see a full trailer so I get an idea of what else is going to be in the film. But just from seeing the large sets that they've got in this, those large sets look great.
They do.
If they keep using a lot of these large practical sets and they use large practical set pieces for the battles, I think it would be a beautiful looking film. It's more of the story at that point, whether or not the story holds up. And I would like to know from you guys, do you think this is the right character to go for with this movie, or would you like to see another character? If they make enough money on this one, would you like to see other movies with other characters? Let me know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is if because they've chosen this story, is there a logical sequel that comes next, and they're gauging how successful this is, if they'll be able to go forward with maybe there's another part of the saga. I don't know.
I would like, if they do another movie, I would want the second movie to be a natural progression from the original epic into whatever the next story is from this story, so that it has a good flow, instead of just having another story that actually takes place before this or something else, to where because you would want the sequel to make sense to the audience that not only knows the epic, but for the audience that doesn't know the epic. You need to
Right.
be able to have the movie to where if no one knows what the epic is, but their reference is of one movie, that it flows good into the next film. So that, yeah, I want to see a full trailer. I want to know what else is in there, but the teaser did its job well by showing me those large sets and got me interested. So it did its job as a teaser. I'm very happy with this teaser.
So have you ever seen some of the other big films, I guess more in the Hindi industry, like Jodha, Akbar, that have huge battle sequences and things like that? I mean,
No.
I love that's one that you should seek out. And it just something about being able to film in India. They can afford thousands of extras, of real extras, and it just, when they're not just CGIing 20 people in a cluster over and over and over again to make a big battle scene, just adds so much to the film.
Yeah, there's a movie that my dad really likes. It was one of the first ones he found when he was looking for these large epic battles. I can't remember the name of it. I will ask him and just write it right here so you guys will see it. But in the movie it was a black and white film, and he showed me the scene too. It's awesome. But they had hundreds of extras, and I think a lot of them were Indian military.
Oh, wow.
And they had elephants.
Yeah.
So you not only had horses and people running, but they had like a dozen or more elephants that were charging at the same time with this huge track. Yeah. It was epic.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have the room and the extras and the ability to do those kind of scales practically. And that's why I would want to see it practical in this film as well, because if you have the money to spend, it's better to spend it on the paying extras to be in the film than it is to do a CG human.
Right. Pay for all their costumes.
Yeah.
It
would look so much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this looks fantastic. I don't know that much about the Mahabharata to know all the different kings and all the different stories. So maybe some of your commenters can give us a little short summary of what's special about this particular story that they may have chosen it to make this expensive of a film.
Well, I will tell you this, knowing my awesome viewers, they're not going to give us a short amount of information. We will get our own epic tomes of comments that are like 3 or 4 paragraphs long. So bring it, guys. I want to know the info. Bring it on. But thank you for joining me on this collaboration. Had a lot of fun doing yours and mine. Something we should do again in the future. I think it's going to turn out great. We'll see how the edit goes, but I think it'll turn out great.
I really enjoyed it too. It was great doing this collaboration with you. And I would definitely be interested in doing it in the future. You shown me something that I wouldn't necessarily sought out myself because, like I said, I've only seen one Kannada film. And I enjoy films like Jodha Akbar, like Bahubali, these kind of historical epics. So if this film comes to Chicago, when did you say it's coming out? In January or something? So I will be looking for this because this looks like something I would really like.
Yeah, I think it might be January. I know it's in 2018, so it's going to be in the beginning. So probably January, February, or March. It's going to be one of those. I think it's January, though.
That's when the Republic Day holiday is, I think. And so that's also around the time that 2.0 is coming out. So I think that may be why there's a couple of big movies coming out in that month.
Well, I hope they don't release it around 2.0 because that's going to get all of the viewers.
Right.
And that would take away money from this one. So at least give it a 2-week gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you don't have any competition or it's going to kill your profit margin. But hopefully they've figured that out and they know when they're going to release it so it doesn't conflict with any other movies. But thank you for joining me. I've got links to all of her stuff and social medias and whatnot in the description below. You can check those out. Also with her channel and the video we did over there for her. And I'll have that linked at the end card. If you're on VidMe, upvote this, give me a follow and share it around. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. tell your friends.
Thank you
I
for
will see you on the next video.
See you. Thank you.